All right, sitting down in front of the camera yet again. I'm gonna talk about the Heavy Things video today. I think it's different for us, and it's a good different. Yeah, it's simple, but I really love it. Today I'm gonna kind of break down, a little bit of production as well as post-production on the project and how just kind of everything led to what it was. In all honesty, it's a very simple video that was executed just a little bit differently than usual. There's just two simple lighting looks that kind of build the whole video out, and then everything lives within those frames. Overall, when Heavy Things sent us the track, the first time I listened to it, I sort of had an idea of those frames playing out. I've been looking for an opportunity to implement something like that idea for a very long time. I think more than anything, it's just something that's a little bit outside of the box for us. It's not so cut and dry and just lighting tricks. It kind of allowed me to tap into more of my designer route and do something that felt a little bit unusual and different, which is always fun. You kind of take a simple idea that's just a performance video. We were able to highlight the band, highlight a really cool set, and then place them within the frames, which created an overall dynamic, fresh, clean, simple music video. I think so often we're chasing big ideas and several ideas, and then we get lost in the moment of what the project really is. And for us, it had been a little bit since they had done a project. We wanted to do a refresher. We wanted to fit into the brand. And Ross had already shot the promos for this. This was kind of the opposite. Usually we build, other pieces around the video. For this one, we built the video around pieces that were already created. It just kind of came together, and we wanted to do something that could still turn around quickly, still be cohesive with everything else that was done. And this felt like the most unique way to do it. The song between the chorus and the verse just has a totally different tonality. The choruses were very warm. They just had this warm, bright feeling to them. So that's why we chose to be very intentional with our shots. I knew going in that the clean look, the non-colorful lighting is what would lay in the chorus. And then within the bridge and the verses, we would do the more moody blue, pink, purple tones that fit those parts. As well, going into this, knowing that we were going to do the frames, so we actually locked everything off on a tripod. One that's a limiter, but it makes us very intentional on the type of shots, the framing that we were going to do. We composed some shots that were tighter, that were more on details of maybe the strings that allowed, to kind of plug and play in the frames in different ways that I thought was really unique. It's one of those things that when we were shooting it, I wasn't totally sure, but then seeing it in post, I was like, great, this all tied together the way that I had hoped for it to. And then with that, the side of that is we only had 2 light designs. It let us kind of pre-program our lighting and lay that all out so that we could focus on more member shots. And for us, this allowed us to be very specific, lock in our lighting, get everything looking just right, and then to go and execute. That way, the project feels very purposeful. This doesn't look like a simple video because there was thought put into every shot. Furthermore, we wanted to, be simple on our lighting budget and put a little bit more into our lensing budget. So we did this all on a 50mm Zeiss ZF, which is kind of a softer lens in general. It has some really unique characteristics to it. And then we put, a matte box and a half pearlescent in front of that just really glowed out all the highlights and created this old-timey TV talk show kind of look is what I'm calling it. But I always love when we can just do that right in camera. It just looks the way that it looks and just plays super nicely. And dealing with 5K files and stacking them together is obviously a ton of processing. So adding an effect on top that would take that much more processing, slowing things down. This approach, just keeping it in camera, lets the post-production process move so much quicker and smoother so that we can meet deadlines. And so we just needed something simple that could also roll out very quickly. After wrapping the shoot, we landed into post-production. Certain shots, the moody shots, were going to be to the verses and the bridge, and then the warm, bright shots were going to be to the chorus. So it was lining everything up. I built several multi-cams and did those in each of their color schemes, and then created markers that lined out to the track where all the specific parts were. What's nice about that is the color grade became very simple. So I was able to just really focus on the shots at hand and making that look interesting, and then laying a grade across that was 100% consistent. So that just saves, again, more time. It pays off in post-production by making the color grade very simple and allowed me to be more creative with the frames. And made a handful of different frames. We made 11 total, and we varied those up by using the flip and horizontal tool so that we could just focus focus on, you know, what shots go into those frames. And with that, you know, the way the shots even lay in there's sometimes where I just fill a whole clip up with one, sometimes I double that clip in multiple frames, and other times, you know, I would place one clip throughout multiple frames. What's cool is the frames created a limit to work within, but it felt like I could have endless creativity within those frames. Kind of eliminates some decisions of like, this is what the video is, anything outside of that doesn't fit. And that's sometimes tricky and a little bit scary when you're locking into an idea, but every time I'm pleasantly surprised by like, wow, this really feels cohesive. This feels like it makes sense. And again, it was intentional. You know, once we got into the edit and once I built out kind of all the multicams, for the most part, it was just figuring out where the cut points were and then placing a frame over that cut point or over 2 cut points and changing clips within that. And then just resizing the clips within those frames and then using like the crop effect to kind of pull the left, right, top, bottom, or whatever in. You know, with it being 5K and multiple things, it's like it even allowed us the option to really punch into some clips, to really fill up a frame, to make it just felt like endless varieties of framing and compositions, which is just something I always wish we took the time for projects, and it was nice to slow down. And by having those limits, it also makes things move quicker and not like trying to go over the top to like, you know, chase this perfection. To me, like, this film is incredible. I'm super happy with it. This project is one that I love. I think it's a new direction for us and it's very fresh. All we really did was we kept things very simple. We created some certain limitations to work within. I'd love to hear any feedback. I'm, you know, trying to get a little bit better at this thing right now, talking with you guys and putting some of these ideas out there. I hope that this kind of answers some of the questions around this project. If there's anything else, let me know. I'd love to hear. Thank you.